Hi, how's it going? It's likely you haven't seen me before. It's not like I'm a very well known person amongst the internet space, but I'm sure that will change eventually. For now, though, I'm just gonna take a walk. Would you like to take a walk with me? Because if you don't, then you probably want to leave. I mean, all this video is me just going around a Minecraft world and talking to myself with absolutely nothing else. There will be nothing interesting happening this entire video. I will just walk around in the world of Minecraft and talk while I roam around the world. I don't know. Usually I am incentivized to make videos that are quite, not per se fast paced, but juicy, jam packed videos that have, I don't know, some story narrative to it. Although it's usually just me describing something that I've made in the world of Minecraft, but still, it's some value to a video, some meaning to the things I do in the game. And this video is not going to have much of that, nor is it going to have much cutting, because that would ruin the walk. I mean, we've got all these nice flowers there, there's beautiful Minecraft terrain. Honestly, I found a pretty nice looking biome already. Flowers. I think it'd take away from the walk if I were to cut my voice in and out constantly. Normally, I'd be spending quite a bit of time cutting out dead space because I stutter quite a bit when I talk, or at least I take quite a while to think on what to say. It's not because I don't know how to speak, because I can. I mean, I talk quite a lot, actually, so it's not like I don't know how to do that. If you've ever been on one of my streams, then you'd know that I definitely know how to keep talking quite well. But yeah, no, I think as a part of this video, the fact that I just don't do any of that is kind of going to be the point, because the walk is the point of the video. My voice is only here as a guidance through the world to add a little extra juice to the video, so that I'm not just showing plain Minecraft footage, because I feel like that would just be too boring, and I admit that. But the point of this video is that it is quite basic and just a journey through the world and my mind at the same time. I think that would be kind of interesting. I don't know. It's something that I've never originally really thought of doing, because whenever I try to come up with video ideas, I don't know. I always try to think of something really big. I want to make a big point. I want to make a big scene to get myself known within the Minecraft space, because I absolutely adore this game and have loved it ever since I got to know about it. I've spent probably over 1,000 hours, if not multiple, trying to build and shape the world around my will and create cool things. But today, I do nothing of that. I just show the world as is. I'll not be touching anything other than with my feet, or maybe my body if I accidentally ram into a wall, but that's more my own clunky playstyle rather than anything. It is just the walk. I mean, maybe other people are doing walking videos through the Minecraft world and on YouTube. I actually don't know that. I didn't really look that up, nor do I think it would be that popular, but I mean, who knows? I haven't seen it before. It doesn't mean that it doesn't work. Maybe no one has ever tried walking through Minecraft before. Who actually knows? I mean, I could have done research on that, to be fair, but it doesn't matter, because this is what I want to do right now, is just taking a journey through the Minecraft landscape, regardless of what others might have done, or if anyone else has done this before. I mean, people have walked through the world of Minecraft before, but usually the goal is to do something within the world, and right now I'm not really planning on doing anything at all. I mean, it will probably come across some interesting looking terrain as we go on, but I don't know. The point isn't to make a base or even play the game. I'm in creative. I can't even die. I could fly and shape the world at my will in just a couple button clicks, but I refuse to do so because I don't feel like that is the point that I, right now, am trying to achieve. So yeah, I guess this video is kind of just about me. I mean, it's my video. I'm uploading it to my channel, which I haven't uploaded anything special to in a while. I kind of got a little bit burnt out. I guess you could say that. A lot of things have happened. I have moved to a new space, lots of stress, lots of things. I'm getting an autism test out of the way, which, well, if you have seen me at all, you might not be surprised for what the result will be. I don't have the result yet. Unfortunately, things like these take a long time. This is really quite a nice mountain, actually. And so, is it nice? I mean, it's interesting. It's like a very parabolic shape. Is that a word? Is that what you would call that? Just one singular tree on top. It looks almost cartoonish. It's very intriguing terrain. Something I would not normally pay too much attention to. Although, I definitely have an eye for looking at nice terrain. I don't think I would ever pick this as my base, but it's definitely interesting. The sharp edge on the side over there as well. Nice little lake. It's not a horrible area. Anyways, as I was saying, my life has been jam-packed with lots of things. I have recently done a sort of subathon, although my Twitch channel is way too small with a too small following to really have a subathon. For those of you who don't really know what that is, subathon is essentially where a streamer keeps streaming for as long as people are bringing in donations, which, yeah, that's only really for popular streamers. But I had a different goal in mind because I was very close to reaching 1,000 hours streamed on Twitch, and I wanted to reach the 1,000 hours, and I set that goal for myself. And then anyone who donated during that period would go on to an extra bonus timer, which was more just a fun gimmick. Not that I wanted people to donate or anything. It's also for just following, which is actually just the main goal. And for raids, which, again, for those of you who don't really know much about Twitch, raids on Twitch is when you send over your viewers to another channel that is live at that moment, which is a very nice way to engage with other people. YouTube doesn't really have much of that. I have realized in the time I've spent, although not too long, making videos on YouTube, is that as fun as it is making videos on YouTube, it's very lonely. You're kind of on your own at first. I mean, obviously, you can collab with other YouTubers, and eventually, if you catch their attention, you'll find other like-minded people who have similar goals to yours. I just haven't really ever had that myself. Through my course on Twitch, I have found, like, people who think somewhat similarly, but there has only really been one person who I have really felt like had somewhat of a similar mindset to what I did, although I'm not too sure about that because I can't read someone else's mind, but I just guessed. I don't know, I do, despite my lacking making videos, take this very, very seriously and have a quite passionate soul when it comes to creating art and content and entertainment. I thought those were like skeletons or something, like with golden armor, but no, it's just yellowy light. Sorry, the terrain is too beautiful. My Minecraft senses just kicked in. I'm sorry, I can't help myself. Even when I'm in creative and I shouldn't feel threatened by anything, I'm just still prone to being wary of potential danger and looking out for myself. I don't know, maybe it's my countless hours spent in hardcore that have baked that into me, that I'm always looking out for potential danger. Even though right now, even the danger can't hurt me. I guess I am the creeper pacifist now, because even when creepers see me in this form, they couldn't possibly end their own lives either, as that is kind of the unfortunate fate most creepers end up going through, is just blowing themselves up. It's kind of sad when you think about it, actually. I don't even really like the creepers mechanics that much anyway. I've watched the video. I don't remember by who exactly, but their video was about redesigning the Minecraft mobs. Maybe if I find the video again, because it's probably still in my view list, in my history, I might share that in the description. It was a fun video, although I didn't entirely agree with some of the redesigns. I didn't think all of them fit that well, but hey, that's my opinion, and I like that about art. Everyone can do their own thing, what they deem to be fit. And I think that's all art should be. And I think art, at least the term art, only truly applies when you're trying to convey emotion in some way. In this case, the person making the video wanted to convey their emotions about the designs of the mobs, where they wanted to see a more updated version that would fit the more modern design of Minecraft. Like, creepers are one of the oldest mobs in the game. They've existed within the realm of Minecraft for years, as well as spiders and skeletons. And a lot of modern mob designs don't really fit in with that as much. I mean, the most recent variation of a skeleton is the bog. They did add that, although the only reason they added a variation of the skeleton is because the skeleton already exists, or at least so I assume. And a lot more other mobs that they have added that aren't really based on other mobs, like the sniffer or the warden or things like that, are entirely new concepts that are not based on anything other than the game itself. Completely, well, mostly new inventions. Things similar to Skok exist within other, like, franchises and other creations out there, obviously, but they're not as obvious as something like a skeleton or a zombie. I mean, skeletons especially, it's just, I mean, a human's insides, so to say. It's not really like there's much else to it. And then as we go on to the mythical creature skeleton, where obviously they're alive, then, it's not really that special either. It's been well overdone. Skeletons within games are like the first enemy you'll find in any classic games is skeletons with swords or some kind of armor, usually in fantasy games, are really quite common. But it's interesting. But again, coming back to my point, I think art only counts as art when you're trying to make it art. And I guess that is one of the problems I have with YouTube, is that not always do we have inspiration to make cool things. And that to me is a little bit sad. I mean, obviously, when you're doing YouTube professionally, a lot of it just has to be done because you want to make money. But it removes the authenticity of videos, and I often feel a lack of soul behind videos I'm watching, and I see a lot of my YouTube recommendations, and I'm like, this just doesn't really speak to me. It doesn't awaken something inside of me, and not everything in life needs to have that kind of like special awakening vibe or something like that. I don't think that that's the point per se, but a lot of things I do think should be coming from people personally. The videos that I like most, regardless of their content, is when it is clearly something someone has spent a lot of time on, but mostly also a lot of soul and passion on. Not just spending time on things just because it doesn't have much meaning, but whenever you're spending time on something you enjoy and clearly are passionate about, and when little details pop up where others can likely tell that you have such passion for a thing, is when it really comes off to me as art. I mean, I can make a drawing of whatever if I wanted to, but if I don't really care about the thing that I'm drawing, am I really making art? It's a very, philosophical approach to the matter, but I mean, I think personally a lot of things in life are quite philosophical, and the only way you can really think about certain things is through the methods of philosophy, because a lot of things are not set in stone, and a lot of things are a lot of things are bound to change in the world, and holding on to certain values too strictly can cause your mind to become very narrow thinking and not accepting of others as much as you maybe should, which can cause for a lot of pain and hatred and fear and anger in the world, which is not something that we need more of, especially in current times, but throughout all of history, probably there has been enough of that. And spreading positiveness through whatever means, and that is why I so much am a fan of art that comes from the soul, as kind of sappy that sounds, I guess. And a lot of people might not feel like things like that matter, but it is what makes me happy. The only things that ever give me some form of joy are hanging out with friends, sharing my thoughts with others, and sharing moments with them, just playing video games and having fun, or even hanging out in real life when it happens to be the case. No matter what we're doing, it's fun whenever you're just sharing moments with others. We're social creatures. That has been proven through both science, but in reality, not having to look at it from a strictly scientific point. I like being around others, despite the fact that I'm quite an introverted person myself. But I like being around others, and, I think that in and of itself proves the scientific fact as well, that, yeah, humans are social creatures, and we like being around others, regardless of who we really are. I mean, being around others doesn't mean we need to be around the most extroverted people and around massive groups of ourselves. Even just sometimes one person can be enough. Although even that can get tiresome after a while, I'd say, for me personally. And I can't speak for everyone, because I'm not everyone. I can't look in others' minds, even though would that be fun? Probably not. But maybe a group of 3 friends would be sufficient to have enough variety, but also not overwork myself in too many different people. That's what originally happened with me back in high school, I think. I started out with just a couple friends, and it was so good, it was great, and I felt at peace. I didn't really have to worry about too many different people, too many different things, too many activities, and too many different minds to understand either. I mean, being that I'm probably autistic, it's quite a challenge to think about what everyone's preferences are, and I don't know, I overthink a lot, and I can go, it can be quite tiresome, can go quite far for me sometimes. But what ended up happening is that friends got friends, and those invited their friends, and then before I knew it, there was a group of 20 plus people around me, and I didn't know half of them on a personal level that I felt too comfortable talking around them, yet I still felt responsible to them as a friend, even though we were never really friends, because again, I barely engaged with them. They were merely just friends of friends, and I felt obliged to my other friends that I did see as friends to engage with them as well, because we were all around in a group, and it more just felt like having acquainted people around me rather than actual friends. I mean, I still have moments with those actual friends where I'd be just with them and still have fun, but that's kind of where things depart for me, and it just becomes too overwhelming to really keep track of, and it can get tiresome to have people around. But in the end, I still do want people around. I mean, I ended up pushing people away mostly. A lot of things that happened. It was high school, so there was a lot of drama as well. Things didn't quite go perfect, so to say. But when has childhood ever gone perfect? I mean, I've only had one childhood. That's because I've only had one life, but I am aware of anyway. Not that I'm going to get spiritual here. I don't know too much about that, regardless. So it doesn't matter to me anyway. But yeah, I don't know. That is a pillager outpost. That is perfect timing for a distraction because I'll be completely honest. I almost fell silent there for a moment. I almost fell silent there for a moment. That's really awkward. Like, I apologize. I know this video is just supposed to be about me walking and my commentary is not important. I believe that someone watching this video will just mute it and not even listen to my commentary. They're totally just here for the Minecraft walk. They purely want to immerse themselves in the world. No, I don't think anyone would do that. Honestly, what I think the result of this video will be is that people will just get too annoyed by my walking style in Minecraft and instead get incentivized to play the games themselves, because because they'll be so annoyed at the way I move around in the realm of Minecraft that they're like, no, I can do that. Is what I'm doing right now essentially just the equivalent of, like, you know, those ads or like TikToks that have like puzzles or like really crappy mobile games that purposely do things in a way that upset you, like they do things wrong in hopes that you install the game yourself and be like, I can do it better, because because I'll show you how it's done, like that mentality. Is that what I'm doing? Am I guilty of this? Because whenever I watch anyone else play Minecraft or other video games, I admit I'm one of the people that does get upset at the way others play video games when I've played one of those games myself and am good at. I don't enjoy watching it anymore because I'm like, oh, you don't know about this thing, but I already know about it. And then I get so frustrated because I know that eventually they'll either never figure out how to do it correctly or they will figure out how to do it correctly, but only much later. And then I see them struggle, and I it's like I feel the secondhand embarrassment of knowing the right answer but not being able to tell them. And I just it's psychological torture for me at that point to keep watching because I wish I could just tell them what to do, but I can't. That's why I like live streams so much. I can actually tell someone what to do unless they have. It depends on what game. I'm not gonna go in there and backseat someone, which essentially just means giving someone the right answer whenever they want to figure something out on their own, like for how the story of a game goes or how a certain part of a game goes or anything at all for that matter. That is called backseating, and people are usually not too fond of that if people just... Oh, it's raining. It's actually kind of cozy. Shaders make rain so much more bearable. I actually really don't mind it now. Let's see what's in here. Ooh, 2 smithing templates. There's no point in me taking it. I just wanted to look. My curiosity is endless, and I must simply check out what's in these chests. I know we're going on just a walk. I mean, I'm not taking anything from the chests. I'm simply just curious about what's inside of it. You can make me walk in Minecraft and do absolutely nothing for like an hour. That's fine. I don't mind that. But when it comes to me pressing like buttons in games, or when it comes to me opening chests, my curiosity is endless, and I simply cannot control myself. You cannot stop me ever from doing that. The real question is, how do I get up there? Okay, walk gets paused for like 2 seconds as I figure out how to parkour my way up onto the other side. Although I think I figured it out. There we go. Although the plot thickens. There's a too high wall that I can't climb over. No, we figured it out. This has been the biggest challenge in this game I've ever had to face. It's funny how it doesn't really matter that much. Oh, is the chest hidden? Do I dig it out? That would be engaging with the terrain. No, I must simply control myself. For I have set the bounds as to not touchy anything in the world other than chests. But the chest is hidden. Therefore I shall not engage with the world. I shall not damage it. Nor shall I do anything else with it at all. I'm allowed to look at chests. I'm allowed to stare. It's like back in the day, you'd go to toy stores with your parents. I don't know if other people relate to this, but I remember going to toy stores, and I knew going in at some point that likely I wouldn't really get much out of it. Very rarely would I actually be allowed to buy something from a toy store. We'd just be around and we'd have to like buy clothes or anything else that would be at like a mall or something similar to it, and there'd be a toy store nearby, and I'd always just want to go and check to see what they had, even though most of the things there I had absolutely no eye for regardless, because to me a lot of the toys were just not that interesting. I had my Legos. I had Legos, and that's what I played with, and that's it. That's all I truly cared about. I had some toy cars, I guess, that I also played with once in a while, but it was mostly Legos that took up most of my time, so most of the toys there didn't really matter. But I'd still just go in and look. And honestly, to be fair, the Lego section is what I spend most of my time in, because I have ADHD, and likely also autism. Again, the test is... I'm waiting for the test. It'll be there, eventually. Hello, little village. But I'd go into the toy store and I'd see this cool Lego set, and I'd be like, parent, whichever one it was, can I please have it? It is so nice and shiny, and if only I could hold it in my hands and build this beautiful Lego set. I am peeking through villagers' houses. This has devolved into something kind of weird, actually. I'm sorry to interrupt my dialogue, but I'll just keep walking. I'm just saying hi. But I'd hold the shiny Lego set in my hands, I'd move it towards my parents, and I'd be like, please, can I? And the answer would always just be, no, it's too expensive, or no, you've already had something not too long ago, your birthday was like 2 days ago, man. And that feeling is just incredibly similar to what I was saying. Honestly, I kind of forgot what it was. No, I remember. It was about touching things in the world. This is me. I am my own parent right now telling me that, no, you can't have it. Sorry, you've had it before. Not too long ago. And now is not the time. You may look at it. You may hold it for a moment. But you have to put it back. And we can't take it. That's the same feeling I'm getting from this world right now. I'm allowed to look, I'm allowed to touch it, I'm allowed to hold it for a moment. But inevitably, I have to let it go. And after a while, I have to leave. And that is it. I'm not allowed to take it home, build with it, be creative with it. For one moment, I may fantasize about the possibilities, but not actually engage with it. And that is a very interestingly psychological thing, I guess. I don't really know what my exact point was. I'm sure someone can really see the beauty in what I just said. I can see it, but I'm not going to explain the entirety of what the point is of what I just said. I guess that's for you to figure out. I guess that's a fun thing too about art, which I was talking about before. You don't have to fill in all the gaps or fill in all the answers. It can be so tiresome to try and make things perfect, try and make art perfect, fill out every corner, fulfill every project, fulfill everything you've ever had in mind, and make it 100% what you had in mind. And you'll come up with new things as you go. It's an endless process. At some point, you have to say stop and Now I have to let it go, which obviously you need to put in effort if you charge money for your art. That's different. But when it comes to purely art for yourself, that has no other purpose than to be art, which is to express yourself, not to sell yourself or anything else, then, you know, it's good to set boundaries. Maybe not at first, but as you go and figure out, yeah, at this point maybe I should stop. Maybe this is all it should need to be in order to be what I want it to be. And then it's good enough. But anyways, that's really, is that a pink sheep? Ooh, it is. Wow. It's quite rare actually. That's good. That's fancy. Wow. Is it thunderstorming? No, surely not. I don't know, it's just interesting to me. It's just really, really interesting to me. Everything is so interesting. Which is why I'm just walking around the world. I mean, I've been struggling doing anything recently. I've been very stuck. I mean, my entire life has been a repetition of getting stuck. I try to keep up with the world, and every time I fall down harder and harder as I go, as I move on. Started all the way back in primary school, where in kindergarten, I guess, I could just do whatever I want. I was allowed to have fun. They didn't really care about what we did yet, but we got kind of, or well, we're supposed to be prepared for the concept of school, but there was no pressure behind it. And I never felt the pressure either. I let everyone else do their thing. Whenever we were asked questions, I always just stood there and waited for everyone else to answer first, and then if no one else answered, maybe I'd give the answer. Sometimes not. Even later on, but that's when things actually started to matter for my own grade. People, well, teachers, and I guess the way school is designed, they wanted to test me. But I didn't want to be tested, because I knew what I could do, and I'd always let others take the lead in things. I was basically invisible because I never felt the need to make myself known. I mean, first of all, I've since really grown to have a distaste towards the school system, especially being that I'm neurodivergent, and it just does not fit my needs and my wants in life. And I think things like school say a lot about human nature and what other people expect of you and how the world is functioning at the current time, and how people have not always best intentions towards each other, even though they might say they do. Even sometimes for seemingly no reason. A lot of things we do aren't purposeful in any means, and then when questioned, they often go around that question and give some nonsensical answer just to skip past it, because sometimes being existentially challenged with such question, which is making you wonder why you're doing something, can be too much for even adult people to give a proper answer to. Their whole life they have been working towards this goal, this thing that they've been told to do from youth, and then if someone questions that, says, hey, I don't think that's a smart idea. Why are we doing this? Is there any point in it? They just seem to get so angry and upset about it. Seemingly for no reason. You get scolded for even just questioning their authority sometimes, when all you want to do is learn, yet they refuse to give you that answer, which in a school environment is incredibly confusing, because you'd expect to get an answer to everything, even if that answer sometimes isn't satisfying, which could be a teacher just saying, hey, I don't really know the answer to this, but you should go and try and explore and see what the answer could be. Find your own answer. See if you could figure it out together, maybe. That's what I hoped teachers would be like, but unfortunately, very few are. At least some of them say they are, but they're incredibly biased towards which students they do it towards, and they are only willing to hear specific things from specific students, which seems to fit their narrative rather than the students. At least that's the problem that I have faced a lot of the time. But anyways, this is getting very dark, which is why I ran into this lava, which is incredibly hot and fiery. I will be touching it with my toes for just a moment. I will step into the fire and then step out again because I don't like the fire and it's incredibly hot and I just don't think that's right for me either. I've tasted the fire. It's kind of hot and I just don't like it. This is the point in the video where I go insane. I hope everyone's excited. No. No one's listening anymore at this point. Which, quite frankly, is good, I guess. I've just very quickly disabled my minimap mod because I realized that was still there and it's kind of in the way, actually. So I feel like the screen is a bit less cluttered now because of it. Anyways, let's continue our walk, shall we? I've completely forgot what I was talking about. It's still raining. It's actually kind of dark. I hope it clears up soon. How strange. So anyways, where was I again? I lost my train of thought. It's like minutes have passed for some reason and I don't really know why, but that's fine. What was I talking about again? I mean, it doesn't really matter. I guess the point of this is that I am just walking around and doing my thing. So, yeah, it's strange that it's still dark though. But yeah, I'm sure it'll go over eventually. I mean, it's moody lighting. It's not like it's that dark. But it's definitely strange. Whatever. I just want to get out of this forest. I do enjoy the forests in Minecraft, but they're not as nice for, like, sightseeing. They're very dense, which I guess does a good job at resembling a forest. I feel like it's difficult to really, truly resemble forests, because I've been to real-life forests, and they're way more dense than this. But just because of the thickness of the leaf blocks and the thick trees, it does still convey that same feeling, I guess. I guess normally, like, it's even more dense than this, but this is, I guess, as close as you can get in Minecraft. It's something that I've never really thought about. I don't think normal people... Sorry. That's my bad. I don't think people normally compare the Minecraft forests to real-life forests, even though that would seem like... I've never really heard someone talk about that. It'd be interesting, though, to see just how realistic Minecraft forests are, although I don't think they really have a good shot at that, to be honest. Oh, this is precarious. How peculiar. How do I get down from here safely? Oh. I guess I don't. Well... just do this then. I was a bit worried about things like mountains, because I want the walk to be mostly just the walk and not me climbing mountains and then falling down and not taking fall damage, because that kind of, to me at least, ruins the immersion, which I'm kind of just breaking my own video with that, I guess. So it's mostly on me in that regards that I am admitting to making my own video lower quality than I want it to be. But then again, it is just me walking through Minecraft. I never really actually set any proper boundaries other than that I'm not allowed to touch the world or shape it in any way, because the whole point is that I'm just observing it. But it is nice. It's a nice change of pace. A bunch of flowers. I really like these flowers. I'm pretty sure these only spawn in swamps, so I very rarely ever see them. But they're very interesting, because there's no other flower really like them. I don't ever look at these enough to really appreciate them. There's not very many things like flowers in Minecraft, so I definitely appreciate their existence. I mean, in the new update, they're adding more bushes. Well, they're adding bushes, which didn't exist before. I guess dead bushes existed, but now they're adding the alive ones and some other plants, which is quite nice. That is just straight up a bridge. I guess I don't even need to transform the area. It's transformed itself. Is that actually one wide? No, it isn't. But it's definitely a very peculiar shape. It almost looks player-made, at least from the other side. Still though, it's... Sometimes Minecraft does have weird things like that, but then also things like these exist, which are quite nice. It's very... Oh, there's more behind it. This is a very cinematic shot. I like this a lot. The mountains in the game, especially since the Caves and Cliffs update, have definitely had an improvement, even though this would still just classify as a hill, I guess, because it's not really a mountain. It doesn't have snow on it. But it is very interesting terrain regardless. I thought it was going to be bigger, to be honest. I kind of did. I kind of do admit that I overshot it in my own mind. I thought it was going to be bigger than it actually was, but I have seen things, though. Generation in just vanilla Minecraft that has absolutely phenomenal cliff signs and mountains. A decent example of that is in my hardcore series that I've been doing on my Twitch channel, which has come to a bit of a halt, but I'll be continuing it again soon, maybe, or at least integrating it into something like that. As this, it's just a boulder that stands on one block. See, now this is the kind of things that I wanted to take this walk for. It's random sightseeing for generation that just baffles your mind. And I'd say this definitely falls in the category of mind-baffling terrain generation. It's just a big rock, but it's like just barely not floating. The temptation to just break this one block and ruin the immersion is very tempting. I will admit. I'll admit to my temptations. I'm not going to just stand around and pretend that I don't have the urge to do these things, that I'm truly here just to enjoy the walk, which I am. I am here to just enjoy the walk, but to pretend I don't have any human temptations to just mess with things and mess around and find out, that'd be a straight up lie. That would be a straight up lie. I mean, we've all seen terrain like these occasionally, where there are just almost floating, or sometimes fully floating rocks. That's the one immersion breaking. I mean, saying that there's immersion breaking things in a game that's entirely made of blocks the size of a metric cube is definitely maybe not an entirely fair judgment regardless. But I guess still the floating rocks can be slightly immersion breaking. Definitely a bit weird, being that the game is designing itself, or at least the terrain is trying to make floating rocks as subtle as possible, although there is an example right there, which definitely does look very odd. That looks awfully ominous, I will say. I'm going towards it. There was just an Enderman there. I don't know why, but I am slightly on edge for some reason. Okay, maybe not from this angle, but from the angle I was looking at it from before, like, that is definitely kind of like, it reminds me of like Lord of the Rings, like the Eye of Sauron. Like some big evil being, like it's an eye, it's looking at me, planning its evil scheme to take over the world with extreme violence and enslave the world. Very scary stuff. Okay, that might have been a very weirdly specific example. I think we should try and lighten the mood. It's a very dark, it's strange that it's still raining. But no, that's fine. I mean, it looks a lot more normal from this side. It's still strange that is just a floating rock. But I guess that is part of the charm that, you know, at the end of the day, it's still just a video game, and we are just in Minecraft, and as interesting as it can be to just walk around this world, you do get its quirks with it, which I just find more interesting. Have I walked in a circle? Oh, I totally have. Oh, I totally have. Oh, I guess I never noticed the floating rock before. I guess me looking at this mountain from a different perspective made me have a different idea about it. Because that's the hill that I climbed before. At least I think so. Huh. In an endless world where all I'm doing is just walking around, I have already managed to loop myself. Is that poetic? Is there some poetic thing to be said about that? I'm sure there is, but I've already talked about enough poetic things, and I think I think I've had enough of that. That is a nice village. I think the snowy villagers are incredibly underrated, being that they're quite rare. You don't really find these that often, especially with shaders. Oh, that looks so cozy. I would love to live here. I'm just saying. I'm just pointing that out. Despite the strays, which do lead me astray from wanting to live in this area. But it is very cozy. Oh, it's so quiet now. It's just snowing. It's quite big too. There's light over there as well, although I think that's just a pit of lava, which is slightly less cozy and more just hot. But this looks almost magical. It reminds me of Christmas. I'm sure it's more home to Nordic villages. I mean, I live in the Netherlands, which is fairly up north, but not that much. Oh, they did not think to prevent their water from freezing, unfortunately. That is unfortunate design. Is that a jelly cat? Hi, Jelly. Hello, Jelly. I always like seeing jelly cats, especially since the unfortunate passing of Jelly, the actual cat, which is Good Times with Scars, or I guess was Good Times with Scars' cat. At least that's what the design is based on. And it's very unfortunate of the passing of the Jelly cat. But it's always fun to see it, even before I enjoyed seeing it, because I knew the lore. For those of you who don't know, I guess I'll tell you about it. Essentially, the Jelly cat in-game has been added because of I think a poll, just like an event that Mojang held, which people could vote on any cat that they would want to add to the game. Or actually, I don't remember if people could vote in it. I think they just had a contest of people sending in their cats, and then Mojang would pick out a cat they liked to add to the game, and they ended up picking Good Times with Scar's cat, probably because Scar is quite well known in the Minecraft community, and also is very talented, and also fits Mojang's more child-friendly PG like existence. So therefore Scar was basically the perfect pick, and I completely agree. I completely agree with that. I think things like that, oh, that's unfortunate. Guess we'll never find out what's inside there. I'm not allowed to break this block. As tempting as it would be, oh, he really wants in there as well. Well, too bad. You're gonna have to figure out another way to break that block, buddy. Oh, that's a hole. That is a hole. No, it's fine. I'll find other things to snoop around, because it's just unfortunate that one of the few structures that are around I'm not even allowed to go inside of, but it's just the game teasing me. It knows I'm not allowed to go inside. Check it out. And I won't stray from my path. Oh, what is that? What in the world is that? Is that just not rendering in yet, or is that just a really misshapen ice spike? Like, the weirdest iceberg I've ever seen in a game, I think. Whoops, I didn't mean to fly. That's my bad. Huh. Well, that really is peculiar. It's completely hollow. It's just floating. I mean, it looks really interesting. From afar, it looked really strange, but that especially is... Wow. Huh. That is peculiar. The things you find in this game sometimes are miraculous. Although I don't think many people really explore ice spikes biomes. They can be so fun to go around with on boats, though. Do I give myself a boat just to ride around? Is that still walking? I mean, I am going on a walk. I guess maybe another time. Another time I will take my boat out. I will change up my rules, but not today. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's a walk. We're going on a walk, and we're not boating. I don't think that's part of the plot. It's very beautiful. I guess the one thing that has always been strange to me is snow on sand. But it can snow on sand. That is real. It's not like sand is invulnerable from being snowed upon. But it's always just seemed strange to me. I guess the one thing that sets my mind to think is seeing snow, which normally is quite like brittle, and sand, which is also quite brittle and is just lots of tiny little pieces, and it's, you know, it falls over and it smears around the landscape, and then seeing it with snow on top of it as well is just really, for some reason, that's where my immersion breaks. I mean, seeing it on dirt is fine, because to me dirt is like, for some reason, more solid in my mind. So seeing snow on dirt is like, oh, sure, that could work. That would make sense. Seeing a meter of dirt just straight up without falling over and having snow on top of it, that's fine. For some reason, I draw the limit at sand, though. I guess it's because sand is also in the warm biome, and it just seeing snow on it, it feels weird because I'm used to like snow melting on sand in desert biomes because they're too warm. I keep doing that on accident. That is on me, though. That's my bad. Sorry, I'm breaking the immersion myself. Well, I guess I am guilty of what the game is guilty of, and that is immersion breaking. So, I do want to say hi to the polar bear. Hello, polar bear. How are you doing in this lovely world? Awesome. I just wanted to give the polar bear some attention. That's all. Wow. Guess it is awfully quiet without the rain now. There's not a lot going on. It's quite peaceful. This is nice. I've kind of just been over my topics, to be honest. I haven't really planned on when I'm going to stop walking, but I guess when I've had all the stages of grief, maybe that's when I stop. I don't know which stage of grief this is supposed to resemble to me, but it's definitely doing something with me. I don't know, just seeing the fire and me standing here having this rule that I'm not allowed to break anything in the world, and seeing the trees burn right in front of me when I'm out here having stated the rule that I'm not allowed to break anything in this world and keep it sacred, like, existence to itself, and I'm merely allowed to observe, which I guess this is still part of, but I guess seeing it in a more hostile environment, not everything is beautiful and nice, although the fire is definitely nice to look at, and seeing things burn can be, in a way, sort of therapeutic, but I don't know, it definitely gives me the opposite vibe of what I thought I would have. Meanwhile, there's just a little tiny rabbit sitting around here. Okay, you're a nice distraction from the deadly fire. Okay, you're alive. No, that's good. Go to your parents. Good. Don't get too close to this. It's hot, and dangerous. Okay. Sorry, I just had to grab a drink real quick. My mouth is kind of dry, and I replenished my speaking capabilities. I have been speaking for quite a while. But while standing around here, though, waiting, I noticed this. It's very strange. I've never seen this before in my life. How peculiar this is. Sorry, I just had to grab a drink real quick. I have a very dry mouth. But we'll continue the walk right now. I don't really know where I left off, essentially, but this is something I did come across when I was waiting, and it's very peculiar. I barely didn't notice it because it blends in really well with the rock, but it's a very strange texture issue. I've not really ever seen this before. But anyways, that's cool, I guess. Just another neat thing to come across when just walking around Minecraft, I guess. Anyways, let's keep going. Out in the dark. Gotta say, the spruce forest does have some really spooky vibes as well. Especially because it's dark enough for mobs to spawn. But still kind of cozy in a way, I guess. Except for maybe the rain. I don't know. We'll get out of it. We'll go back to a regular forest. Oh, if I can. Through all the foliage and stuff. It's quite nice. I just like basic lakes as well. Just rivers and basic Minecraft terrain. It's kind of comforting as well in a way, I guess. It's, in a way, just nostalgic. I guess that immersion is going to get slightly ruined when the new update's going to come out. Because, well, you know, the leaf litter. I don't know if anyone has seen it yet, but in the new Minecraft update, they will add leaf litter. I guess this might be a bit of a spoiler, but they'll add just, like, fallen leaves on the ground, but they're very brown. And I think that's cool, but they really stand out quite a lot. Everything's very green, and everything kind of blends together in the forest, and then suddenly there's big brown leaves on the ground everywhere, which I feel like fits more in, like, places with podzol, like the taiga biome, where the podzol is. I forgot, I think that's Old Grove taiga. I feel like that would fit there quite well. But it's quite strange that they decided to add it into just a regular forest. Like, imagine this place littered around with, well, leaf litter. I guess it is a fitting name, but it's just big brown blobs everywhere. I feel like it takes away from the beauty of the terrain a bit, in my opinion. I kind of hope they make it a bit more subtle, but, like, it's everywhere, just like they have the pink petals in the Cherry Grove biome. It's going to be everywhere, and I don't know how I feel about that just quite yet. But these are my favorite flowers. I keep calling them peonies on accident. They're lilacs. Obviously they're my favorite. So, you know, just saying, because it gives magenta dye, you know, for if you didn't know, that they're magenta flowers. I like magenta. That's why I did. I'll just keep walking. I'll just keep walking. The moon's shining. Is it? Huh. It seems like it's almost standing still. That's strange. Anyways, there's a village over there. Oh, that looks so cozy in the rain. I like shaders so much when it's just slightly dark still. As strange as it is that it's been dark and raining for so long, it does add such a cozy vibe. I kind of just only want to see the village from a distance, actually. I almost don't even really want to go there. It just looks really fun from a distance, and then as soon as I go close to it, I can hear all the villagers mumble, and yeah, I might just not. Might just not go there. But I like looking at it from a distance. I think that's fair. We've been over a bunch of philosophical topics. I think just commenting on basic things should be fair in and of itself. I don't think I really need to say much more sometimes. Keep it nice and basic. I like that. I don't know. Just listening to the rainfall is definitely quite calming. It makes me think of being in a tent, going camping with my grandparents, which I used to do quite a lot. And then just in the evening, laying there in my tent, closed in. Can't see the outside, but I know I'm on the camping. You can feel the smell. Definitely feels different than sleeping at home on a camping bed. Well, just a blow-up mattress. And it starts raining quite heavily too sometimes, but still. Maybe the thought has crossed my mind, like, oh, will everything be alright? What if things are just wet and break because of the rain and the wind? But still it's calming because I know in the end it will be alright. And it's nice listening to the sound. It's not ear deafening. It's very present, but even just the sound of the rain can keep me distracted. Not in the way that it's bugging me, but just in the way that it kind of gets rid of my boredom almost. It's not an annoying sound. A lot of people complain about the rain in Minecraft, and I usually do as well, but to be fair with shaders, it's a lot better because it's a lot more see-through. The rain feels more like actual rain, even though the particles in the ground are still just the blue blobs, but it's a lot more, it's a lot nicer to look at. I do wonder if it'll ever stop raining, I guess, but I don't know. It's fine. Let's just focus on the walk. That's why I'm doing this video in the first place anyway. What doggy? I haven't seen one of those yet, surprisingly. This has to be one of my favorite changes in Minecraft in a while. Just having the dogs have different textures. It's something so simple, yet gives them a lot more personality, and they definitely deserve it. They did still, of course, keep the original dog in the game. Oh, now that's what I was talking about before, about the beautiful cliff sides. Oh, now that's why I am doing this walk. I just want to take a moment to look at this. That is awesome. That big cave, especially the cliffs and everything. The river going through. This is a beautiful landscape. This is just... It's frankly perfect in my opinion. Hello, ducky. Hello, creeper. For once, I don't have to be worried about you blowing up my stuff. It's quite annoying. I just want to take one more look at this. I just want to stare. You know what? I'm just going to stare at it for a little bit longer. It's just compelling me. Although there is a weird structure in there. Huh. What is that? Is that... I mean, that just looks like a pillar, but... that's weirdly square. It's another ominous thing. I don't know why. There's a weird, like, bit of generation. That just... For some reason, it's so odd. I don't know, Minecraft generates with peculiar terrain every once in a while anyway. I mean, I've already noticed that. I've come across quite a few strange things already. Though it's just kind of ominous, but it's still so beautiful at the same time. It's not like it's ugly ominous, and that it gives me the feeling of dread or that I should be scared, but it just gives me a powerful feeling that's just quite peculiar. Nothing I'm really worried about, but it just has a demeaning presence, I guess. It's very strange. Honestly, I don't really know where I'm going or why I am still going, but I do for some reason feel compelled to just keep walking, I guess. The Endermans are definitely not having fun. I'm sorry, buddy. The rain doesn't seem to be stopping anytime soon, so better seek shelter. What? Hello?
Hello?
What? What are you doing? I thought it was a single-player world. What? How did you? How, what's up? I'm just having a walk through Minecraft. What are you doing?
Honestly, just doing the same thing.
Oh, well, guess we can walk together. Maybe
Yeah.
find like a little place to seek shelter. We should maybe find like a cave or something. It's raining quite a lot actually. We
Yeah,
could
I
keep
noticed.
walking. I mean, I'm recording a video. I was just going on a walk actually. It's fine. Well, I don't know. Just going on around how Minecraft's terrain is so interesting and how everything just seems to have weird, peculiar, like, bits sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes you see something in Minecraft and it's almost weirdly perfect where I'm not quite sure if it's like immersion breaking or just gives you that idea that's like, I don't know.
It's why those farlands always intrigued me, you know?
The Farlands, you're so right. I wish that was
Yeah.
I wish that was still in the game. The Farlands are
Mm.
so interesting because it's to the point where Minecraft literally kind of tells you, like, yeah, from this point out, the game is kind of goofy and it's still there.
Yeah.
The tropes of the game still, like, exist, but it's just different to where some rules it just decides to forget about and not care anymore about. I don't know.
Yeah.
I hope there's something around here that we can find shelter in, because, oh boy. It's kind of getting to me now.
Mm.
How long have you been here for?
I don't even remember. Like, time just kind of, you know, you just kind of forget how long you've been. Time just kind of freezes.
Yeah, no. It's... It's definitely weird. Honestly, I don't even really remember how long I've been here for, but... For some reason, I can't really seem to leave. It's some... as if something's trying to... I don't know.
Anytime I look at pumpkins, I just think back to, you know, like the console editions of the game, where people used to always say that pumpkins were rarer than diamonds because a world could always spawn with diamonds in console edition, but a world couldn't always spawn with pumpkins.
Yeah.
Until obviously now, when it's bedrock and now the world is infinite, so you will have both. But I always found that kind of funny.
Yeah. It... yeah. Oh my god.
I'm sorry, I just had to say it.
No, you're right. You're right. I don't know why I decided to climb this cliff. It's very steep over here. God, no. Sorry, I fell. I don't know why I did that. Guess I am just bad at parkour. That's nothing new. That's my bad. Gotta get back to Alpha, I guess. What's that? Alpha? Hello? This is ominous. What in the world? Alpha! Where are you? Where'd you go? You silly prankster? You trying to hide from me or something? Hello? Okay. That was weird. Alpha? This world is starting to get really cursed to me for some reason. Oh god.